Looks like Captain Cole. Oh, Captain Colcurse is switching ships here, going back to the more conventional double Pyramidion. But ZIll, oh my god, ZIll is taking a spire. Oh, ho, ho, I am excited, Papa Paradox. I am excited.
As we have said in the past, this is a very nice platform to test builds in a very competitive environment. So, merry men whipping out that spire, trying to make something of it. ZIll is one of those players who loves to just ignore the meta and try new things to try and innovate.
Absolutely, that's why we love him. The Sunday Rumble here, acting as ZIll's laboratory. Well, I say that for all we know, ZIll might have tested this extensively, and he might have just trashed a load of people in scrims with it. This is ZIll, remember?
But pubs will only get you so far, and scrims are even more casual than the competitive setting on
Okay,
weekends.
well that's aside. Let's check the loadouts of these ships. Paradox?
We have the We Didn't Repair, a name change, I believe. You're taking a Watch Aspire with Gatling front, Artemis on the right side, Flare on the left, and the Blame Doug already starting to fire using those dual Artemis right side, Gap Mortar left with a Banshee on the front. And the Dutchman charging in, eating a bit of Watcha and ramming into the Blame Doug with the Gap Mortar.
That went disastrously for the Merry Men. The Blame Doug came in to body block the Dutchman, which was charging the Spire. The Dutchman ran right into the Blame Doug, taking its balloon out, and it just went right through and finished off the Spire. The Spire's Watchers actually went into the Blame Doug, so he's body blocking his own allies' fire. So really not a good first engage for the Merry Men.
Indeed not. There's a reason they call Spires Pyramidion bait, as we just witnessed. Gat's going to be raining up, but it's going to be hard for the Blame Doug to hold down against two Pyramidions. And if he's not careful, he's going to hit this rock.
Oh, yes, very, very narrowly missing this rock here. Oh, he looks like he's about to make contact. Yep.
There goes Arcs.
Oh, dear. I think the Pyramidions getting a bit too close to each other, but they're focus firing. The Dutchman's armor's actually down. The Blame Doug's putting up a hell of a fight here.
The We Didn't Repair, focusing the Milled Himmel, not really timing that Watcha, just trying to get some engines out so it can't refocus its gun arcs, but
just
Blame Doug's going to go down anyway.
To save its ally here. Miller Himmel's popping Hydro, but I mean, you don't want to get in a vertical movement fight with a Spire. However, ZIll does not have Hydro, so...
Yeah, I like how we both checked that.
There we go. He does not have Hydro, so Milder Himmel was able to escape, and We Didn't Repair could not get the kill. Now, We Didn't Repair may get killed itself, and it does. Yeah. Oh dear.
Spire is not a tank, to say the least. Glass cannon.
And he kind of went into a slightly meat-grindy scenario there. Blame Doug.
Rough spawn.
Yeah, oh dear.
He needs to run and before he gets spotted.
I think, what the hell was that? Okay, the Dutchman and the Milder Himmel, very meta builds, obviously the Gatling Mortar Metamidians. Last night at the COGS qualifiers, we saw the Dutchman take a double Mortar Pira, I think it was a Flakfish or a Blenderfish. Yeah, basically I think after that they've decided, let's just go meta this time. Oh, those rockets just glancing below the Dutchman as the We Didn't Repair desperately tries to evade here, dropping down, using that shoot vent a little bit, I think. And he manages to get underneath the Dutchman and the Milder Himmel. Looks like the Blame Doug might take advantage of this and maybe turn its killing sides here.
But the Pyramidians are going to raw focus that Spire, and there's not much he can do about it. He can try and get the guns out from the Milled Himmel, but scattered shots taking out a side weapon and maybe a front weapon.
I mean,
not doing a whole lot.
I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but I mean, vertical movement. ZIll did have that shoot vent that allowed him to duck underneath the Pyrrhas, but he didn't have the Hydro, so he couldn't jump them. Oh dear. Now the Milder Himmel and the Dutchman are rising up to fire on the Blame Doug.
We Didn't Repair getting a semi-convenient spawn coming up behind Milled Himmel. We'll see what he can make of it. See, did Gunner take heavy?
Those Watchers well placed. Milderhimmel's hull's on fire. Guns are taken out.
Using heavy, but the couple times they used burst, they were at a little far range to use it. And Flame Dog's going to be raining in on the Dutchman.
The Merrymen could pull things back here. They finally got in an optimal position for kind of what they're going for. They're forcing the Milderhimmel to retreat because they whatched out his guns, and now they're sort of kind of getting focused on the Dutchman.
The thing is, if the We Didn't Repair loses any perma health here, it's going to just keep putting them at a worse and worse disadvantage. We've seen how quickly Pyramidians can kill it, so they need to survive.
Absolutely. I mean, I've played Aspire on this level before, but the thing is, you spend so much of your time ducking and diving, sometimes it can be hard to kind of get that consistent fire on. The re-repairs, getting some fire on the Dutchman, but the Milderhimmel and the Dutchman focusing Aspire relentlessly, ran right into the bridge, and it's over.
Just the slightest tap into another piece of scrap just eviscerated that.
Yeah, you see it. Its permahull was almost full, but just one ram just blew right up. Oh dear. I think it was an interesting idea. Like I said, I think ZIll should have taken that Hydro. Let's see if he sticks with it in the second game of the series.
Indeed.
I think that was just
or if he even stays with the Spire, for that matter.
Now, the Flying Dutchman, Papa Paradox, I think they're quite they're quite more dangerous than people think. I would definitely say. I mean, as
synergy is excellent.
Yes, I mean, Cold Curse has quite a wacky personality, but just their team synergy is just incredible. I mean, all of last week I was just amazed at Cold Curse's survivability of his ship and the superb timing of the Gap Mortar combination.
And that's something that newer teams have hard-ish time to grasp. I mean, once they see the power of timing in competitive, they all start making that transition to learning timings and whatnot.
Oh, but absolutely. And I mean,
when the pressure's on,
there's people who are experienced, and then there's people who are experienced working together. And definitely, I mean, sort of the social side of making a clan is just as important as the tactical side. Keeping those strong bonds so players play together and play together often. It's very important. Anyway, builds.
Mother of God, it just disconnected me from the game. So
oh,
can you
shit.
cover the
Well,
builds?
I'll do it then. Yeah, I'll try my best. Okay, but then it broke. On the right side, we have Gap Mortar. On the left side, we have Carronade, Banshee, Rocket Carousel, Front Artemis. Blame Doug. We have a Rocket Carousel on the front and Gap Mortar sides. The Milderhimmel, we have a Gap Mortar front, and we have Flare Gun Carronade sides. The Dutchman, we have Gap Mortar front, and we have Mine Launcher Carronade sides. Ooh, that's interesting. Alrighty. Looks like Merrymen have already taken up position in the canyon. Definitely something Imagine was complaining about, I think, a cast or two ago, was you don't actually see that many ambushes in the canyon, in Canyon Ambush. But we may be about to see one right here. These teams, I think, are about to meet in the middle. I think the Merrymen are at the derpy engage point, as Papa Paradox might have it.
Eloquently put it.
Eloquently put it. Eloquently put it indeed, Papa Paradox. Okay. The Milderhimmel. Oh, looks like the Merrymen are withdrawing. They've changed their mind. They're going to take the long way around. All right, but now the Dutchmen are moving to a halt here. Just considering. Okay, this looks like there will be something of a lull in the action, and there possibly won't be a canyon ambush after all. Now, Papa Paradox, did you watch the COGS yesterday, the tournament qualifiers?
Watched about 2/3, I think. I got to your game.
Yes, you did. Yes. Did you finish watching the BFS versus Kate game?
Man, that was a gong show.
That
That
was some
was some
crazy stuff.
weird shit just happening everywhere. Why
But
get
yes,
flak on Gilder's boat?
yeah, we both had Gat Flak actually. Well, the theory
Okay,
was it gave us a bit more
there we go.
range than the mortar did, and of course with all those mines, you need a little bit more range. But anyway, I bring that up because the Dutchman, I believe, does have a mine on his side. So I'm wondering if he's actually going to utilize that, or that was just one of those Pyramidian side picks that you don't really care about or put much thought into. I guess we're about to find out. I was actually playing with Captain Coldcurse earlier, and we were playing on a all-mine mobula. We fired a wall of mines behind a galleon, and Colcurse rammed the galleon with a mobula into the wall of mines and killed it. Uh, so I just think that speaks to the boldness of Captain Colcurse, and that's one of his
And here's
greatest
this
advantages.
engage. Dutchman at the obvious advantage, getting 4 guns as opposed to the Merriman's 2. Merriman turning those broadsides on them finally. Blame Doug rising above their arcs, or at least trying to. Mildhimmel, I believe, still does have some fire arcs on them. Indeed, he does. Raining Gat in. Dutchman gonna be taking Gat mortar from the combined, but they
Oh,
might have an inconvenient ram. Both of them cut engines. Very smart play. Very
oh, what
aware.
a ram! Golly, that knocked him about 360, 480.
And the passing tar. But then it broke. It's gonna be marinating in that tar for a bit. Blame Doug is
This
sinking low.
This will give Mildehimmel an opportunity to escape, which he is not taking. He's opting to turn around.
And
I'm
it broke. How's his engine's doing? A little bit hurt, I believe, on the main turn, but there we go. Lambert topping it up, as it were. And now they're at full capacity, just sinking back into that cavern. Dutchman could be trying to get a quick kill on Blame
Oh,
Doug, but then it broke's just going to be sitting there, raining it in on him, and he is not going to survive long in this engagement. Mildhimmel
well,
is now all dressed up with nowhere to go.
well, yes. I mean, we've seen this before. As I was just saying, Captain Colcurse, extremely brave, but perhaps a little impatient at times. We saw that with the up there goes Mildehimmel as well. We saw that with the against the rhinos when he just charged right around that corner into focus fire. You just got to be so careful when you're flying a Pyramidian not to overextend yourself and end up in a focus fire situation.
So now, red team has a bit of an advantage. Those Artemis are going to shoot slightly farther than the GAT that the blue team has on the front. So they could potentially just get a couple quick disabling shots in before they charged in, but they're going to be opting to move around the side of the map instead.
Yeah, hang on a doodly what's it? These junkers are splitting up quite a bit here. Then it broke, hanging out in this little pass while the Blame Doug goes up high. Paradox, what do you think they're going for here? Or have they just got a little bit split up, a little bit of miscommunication?
Well, I smell an ambush.
Yes.
But because it was, you were saying, Imagine who was talking about not many ambushes
Canyon
happened in
ambushes,
Canyon
yes.
moves. Yeah, so him being a member of that team, it wouldn't surprise me that much if he opted in for it and he's like, we should try.
Yes. Oh,
And if you're
yes, it is
3
worth.
up, it's a fairly safe bet to
It
at
is
least
worth
give it a
pointing
go.
out. It is worth pointing out that Imagine is actually engineering on the Blame Doug today. So, hello, Imagine. Uh, this week, of course, he couldn't cast because he's flying for his beloved Merrymen. Wish him the best of luck on the Blame Doug.
Blue team gonna
Oh,
be
I can
sneaking
see him
in
there,
here.
buffing the hull. Yep.
With
Blue team coming in the main entrance to the canyon. Yeah, it looks like you're right, Paradox. This could be an ambush.
and with the added cloud cover and a patch that happened not too long ago, the red team could exploit this fully if they can even see the blue team. Blame Doug is the only one who has the potential to, I believe. We'll see if he ends up noticing Big Tar. They don't notice that. Can you notice that from inside the
Uh,
clouds? Not really. Not
no,
really.
it kind of fades behind other
Yeah.
clouds, I think.
Oh, but there is a spot going down somehow on the milled Himmel.
Yes, I think the Merrymen just about know where the Flying Dutchmen are now, but not vice versa.
What is the but then it broke doing? He's piloting backwards. Gonna be going right into a rock if he's not careful.
I think he's got enough clearance, Papa.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
He
we go.
was cranking it there for a minute though. So
Yeah.
gotta be super careful. I've charged in Canyon and Parisian, like full crank on a galleon, and once you get that momentum going, it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
Then a building comes out of a cloud, and you just regret everything instantaneously.
Then it broke has his back to the wall here, just making sure they can't sneak up on him from behind. There's only so many angles the Dutchman can come
Flares.
at him from. Flares going down.
No spots, however.
Yes, that's true.
They're prepping their left side. We'll see what they make of it. Blue team just sitting still.
So, yeah, with the Mildehimmel firing flares, I mean, do you think they know where they are? Or are they just sort of firing them experimentally?
I think they have a general idea. I don't know
Hmm.
how, though.
Yeah, they're pointed in vaguely the right direction. It's just that terrifying guessing game right now.
Both of their engines are cut. Neither of them are moving. Just a slight drift from when they were
Yep.
stopped initially.
Right.
For the
I
waiting game
think
time. It's the
Colcus
it's the
flying.
double. This is the double
Yeah,
canyon ambush.
yeah. The Pyramidians kind of going back to back here, just kind of one watching one side, one watching the other, making sure they've got their bases covered.
And they do have Phoenix Claw, so they're not going to be worrying too much about turning around quickly. And with the Junkers not being able to control their engage angle as well as the Pyramidians, it's going to be pretty difficult if Merrymen decide to start flying out here.
Well, the Junkers can do. They have the advantage of being able to sort of sneak round a corner, get some fire on, and then immediately sneaking back. I mean, if a Pyramidian wants to round a corner, he has to round the whole corner. He can't
Yeah.
cover shoot.
Very true. And they do have that Artemis on the front, so they could try and get some quick disables using burst ammo. That's what it used to be when I when I used to fly them.
Back in the good old days, yes.
What,
I'd be
what,
very
what are they
surprised.
loading it with now?
Let's have a look. Okay, it seems to me the Blame Doug's gunner has Lesmok, Burst, and Greased. Then it broke Yiski's gunner, Lesmok, Greased, and Heavy. So, there we go. That's what the kids are loading into their rockets nowadays, apparently. Well, how does Lesmok affect? I don't know much about the rocket carousel. It's a fairly rarely used weapon.
It'd increase its range, but it would not control spread. So if you want something to like help, you know, consolidate, I guess is probably a better word, but you know, tighten the spread of rockets.
I'd say definitely burst ammo would be the most useful thing to bring the rockets, because what you want to do is you just want to spread that damage around with the rockets, cause disabling, cause chaos, mess up components. I mean, it's not, say, like a hull killing weapon where you just want to get sort of as much sort of focus killing power and the hull as fast as possible. You're trying to disable components. You're trying to wear them down, basically. Oh dear, I think the two teams have just rather lost each other here.
Yep. I
This is
mean,
unfortunate.
There's not much you can do when you're playing the looking for the other team game in a butt ton of clouds.
And yeah, just Canyon Ambush is just such a huge map with so many clouds, so many canyons. Can make it hard for teams to find each other.
Parisian is probably the worst transgressor in that sense.
Yeah, I'd say it is. The So a
I'm trying
paradox.
to remember my Twitch password, and it is just not happening. No, I give up. I give up. Oh, nailed it.
Chat. Flying Dutchman, Valiant Dutchman seem very vocal right now. Merry Men not so much. Oh wait, no, they are chatting to each other.
Now
They're talking
Frago is
about.
usually the guy who tries to tilt the other team.
You mean with taunting, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally you do get a bit of tactical smack talking going down.
Tactical smack talk.
Well, yes, I mean, if you can sort of rile an enemy up and get him frustrated, then that's... oh, Benny Hill theme requested. Yes, as I was saying... as I was saying, if you can rile an enemy up, get him frustrated, tempt him into making a mistake, I mean, that's as valid a part of a strategy as anything, I suppose. Still, the rules on in-game chat and riling up your opponent or smack talking or whatever, I mean, still not many rules kind of governing that in the competitive scene at the moment, but I think that might change soon, depending on if there's some sort of boiling point situation.
This is like watching submarines that are using like sonar to try and detect each other. Some Red October shit just had going down.
Are we even on the same map? Asks Ravillo. I don't even know anymore, replies Imagine. I feel like now I feel like I'm narrating a magic roundabout.
Okay, Reds head to C3. We'll meet
This map looks a lot like Parisian Rumble, says Captain Colcurse. Yes, I think. No, it doesn't, Colcurse. This is a lot more orange.
A lot more orange.
A lot more orange.
New York to Nevada? Is that where the Grand Canyon is? I don't know.
What?
Parisian Rumble is New York. This is the goddamn Grand Canyon.
Yeah, fine. Yes, Grand Canyon. Nevada.
Jesus.
Yeah, we said you said something like Grand Canyon goes from New York to Nevada. And I thought, what the fuck? Has it suddenly expanded? Has there been some freakish tear in the earth? Okay, anyway, looks like we might finally get a engage here.
Wow, wait. Inflection into nothing.
We might finally be getting engaged here. Oh, spots have gone down. Here we go.
And the red team's running because what are they doing? They got a tar. What are they doing? What are you doing?
I think the red team, what they want to do is they want the Pyramidians to
bad ram.
Unfortunately,
bad ram. Get low blame.
I think what they want to do is they want to tempt Colcurse into charging around that corner and getting focus fired. If I had to guess, because it worked for them before.
Flame Dog needs to sink down, do something,
anything. Dutchman.
Yeah, and there goes that mortar raining in.
Body blocking each other there. That was a bit. Oh no! Milton ram his own ally.
Big bad teammate ram. That's gonna hurt, and that might very well be GG. Red team taking a 5-0 redemption for that Spire match earlier on Water Hazard. And it looks like we're going to be going to a Game 3, Brick.
Well, yes, indeed it does. I mean, Shink and Admiral ZIll, Rear Admiral ZIll, just going back to the fundamentals there. Just sort of tight engage angles. With that gap mortar, just messing up the engage of making it awkward for the two Pyramidians,
Yeah.
and it got through with a very solid victory. I'm
They,
interested to see what will happen in this last match. Meta Earths. Yes, well, it's certainly meta.
when you combined Meta 5 and Urs,
You get
you get the
Meta
Meta
Earths.
Urs.
That's some Power Rangers shit right there.
Mecha Godzilla of tournament organizing.
Yes. Okay. Now the Valiant portion of the Valiant Dutchman switching to a blender fish. Now TFD have had success on Parisian Rumble with the blender fish before. They defeated the Gentleman in a close game on Parisian Rumble, which is quite an upset at the time. I think many felt. And I think Blenderfish is very effective on Parisian Rumble because, I mean, you'll get Velcroed on stuff in this bloody map anyway. You bring a Blenderfish into the mix, I mean, that just brings Velcro to a whole new dimension.
So there are no changes on them, but then it broke the rook and the gat flat or mortar left, and the Banshee carronade right side with the Artemis front. Blame Doug gonna be staying consistent as well with the gat flak left side, Artemis front, and a gat or mortar right side. So gonna be trading in any sort of support for an all kind of meta build. And the Crassius Arato rocking the blender fish. Gat left side, flare right. Gonna be using that flare a lot, I'd assume. Trying to sift through this cloud cover to find the red team. And in the meta Urs, we have a standard meta Midian, the Gat mortar with carronade mine left. Do you think they'll use the mines on this map?
Well, they didn't seem to use them at all last time. I mean, Cold Curse just seemed to be basically on the meta Urs, just charging in, really, not really using the mines very much. But who knows? Oh dear, a bit of a bounce there on the Crassius.
I feel like after the TFD, I believe that's who you use the mines against, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You like PTSD'd Stockholm syndromed them into taking a mine launcher.
Yes. There was must have been a very frustrating game for the Flying Dutchman against the BFS where we just mined off all these tight passes. But anyway, looks like the Merrymen Junkers are sort of firing their rockets down long range.
Meta
there we
is
go.
getting
Blame Doug ducking
really
down
far
beneath
ahead.
the charge.
Blame
now-
Doug. The one with the no support sides, but then it broke. It's gonna let him fly right over top of him. His balloon is gone.
Then
Still
it
with me,
broke.
bro?
Balloon is down. Blame Doug's balloon is down. They're both using drogue shoot to try and slow their descent.
And I'm watching the definition of mistimed Gat mortar from the Blame Doug right now.
Oh dear, Blame Doug's got no balloon. He's actually bouncing off the top of the meta Urs here, just continuing to go down. The Carassius, its carronade was just buffed all through that, and it might explain why they've just been taking down those balloons so quickly, keeping those junkers suppressed.
I'd be yelling so loud if I was on either of those red ships right now.
Oh, but the Carassius has gotten in a slightly awkward position here. Then it broke, firing down on it. Then it broke, taking serious damage as well.
More mortar shots. Ooh, but the couple rams off of the pillars, off of the building, just making him miss his arcs. Ooh, Meta Urs with the dunk, just jumping on him to finish that last kill.
But then it broke. Did manage to sort of glide down with no balloon, continuously firing on the Carassius, and he almost got the kill. But as it stands, it's just sort of got it down to a shred of permahull. So yeah. I mean, at least the Merry Men gained something from that engagement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think
whether they decide to focus it first or not is another question entirely, though.
I think what the Merry Men can learn from that engagement is sort of to consider the Blenderfish, a high priority target. Well, especially now that it's damaged, they can probably get the quick kill on it.
Carassius, Aratu, Valiant What? How do they engage next then? Because they know they're going to be focused. They look rickety. Red team knows that they really put a hurting on it. So, well, what's blue team's move to try and protect it?
Blue team's move, maybe try using the Artemis to disable the Blenderfish's carronade coming in. That'll take quite some time to repair, and they can capitalize on it with their DPS sides. Let's have a look. Yes, the Blame Dug has Artemis on the front. Then it broke, also has an Artemis on the front. So yes, if they just caught that front carronade coming in, they could take it out, and they could render it basically harmless. Just finish it off at their leisure. But no, they've got their DPS sides turned. Looks like they just want to quickly DPS down the Blenderfish before it gets too close.
They both have drogue shoots, so they just...
Long range blending here. Carassius taking out the balloon and the Blame Dug. Blame Dug's repaired, it's coming back up now. It's very close to crashing down. Yep, the balloons are both out. It was just that quick. Carassius just using that carronade to devastating effect.
Yeah, they're using the drogue shoot, but they continually sink, although albeit a bit slower, but not enough to, you know, put the damage needed down on the blue team.
Then it broke. Blame Dug making good use of cover here. That's what I was talking about earlier, the Junker's cover shooting. Unfortunately, the Blame Dug's taking too much damage. Oh, Blame Dug just barely clinging onto life. Then it broke, charging in on the Blenderfish when the Meta Urs is the one firing on its ally.
Well, the Meta Urs can only really shoot on the balloon, so if they take out the Blenderfish, then they get rid of half their problem. But the Blenderfish switched to but then it broke, and now he's raining it on him as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, but yeah, Meta Urs keeps hitting that balloon, not really getting it. He's trying to dunk him, and there it is.
Oh, dunked again.
Dribbled into the ground. Ooh, but then it broke.
And then it broke,
to take out the Carassius.
But being blended down. Oh dear.
That, yeah, they are mistiming those mortar shots horrifically.
Well,
but
I mean, it wouldn't matter if that. I mean, Carassius just wasn't blending them so bloody well.
Very true. But in that initial engagement, I watched them shoot off like a good half a mortar round and then start shooting the Gat. That made me cringe inside.
Well,
so drogue shoot's obviously not cutting it, especially on this map, where if you're sinking even slightly, you'll be behind a building like momentarily. Yeah,
I think it's a little bit awkward to go up against a Blenderfish with you know, your double junk. You can't ram the Blenderfish kind of like you can for Pyramidion. They haven't chosen really any long range DPS like, you know, double mercs or whatever. Again, all they can do to kind of take out that front carronade again is those bloody Artemis rockets, which they have not used.
I've as of late, I've seen Hwachas used, and it's always been suboptimal. I feel like there was a Hwacha change that no one noticed.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember Falconeers using their Hwacha fish to absolutely devastating effect. But I don't know.
I can't count the amount of times I've watched a full Hwacha burst go into the front of a Pyramidion and its guns just be fine. I'm like, how is this a thing?
Well, it shouldn't be. If you're choosing to bring Hwacha fish, it shouldn't be a thing. But anyway, TFD Meta Urs raining down fire, and then it broke. Then it broke. The balloon is already down almost.
They are using that Artemis, like you said, trying to just chip away that front gun. There it goes. Gonna be raining in Gat Mortar now, trying to take it out. We could be seeing a comeback from Merrymen now.
There we go. That's what they needed to do. That gave them the time to get the kill.
But then it broke. Cannot die here. Needs to get up, do anything.
Oh, nope. Oh dear. Well, yes. Cold Curse, Flying Dutchman, retaining their title, King of Velcro, defeating Valiant Dutchman, defeating the Merrymen in this series. Golly. Wow, what a win. Just Carasius making good use of that front carronade. I mean, the Merry Men only really starting to disable it kind of right at the end there, and by then it was just, unfortunately, it was too late.
Indeed. I mean, red team had no response to the carronade. They had drogue shoot, which they thought would be fine, but it was completely suboptimal, and they didn't really have anything to do with it. I'd like to maybe see mercs just to like, you know, ensure that that gun goes down if you manage to land a hit. I mean, for a merc on the front of a junker is probably nothing to Yeeski. You could probably fire that like fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely no problem with the Merry Men. I just think just weren't quite sure how to deal with that Blender Pyrrha combination. And of course, as we know, Cold Curse is the king of Velcro.